An introduction to The Snowbridge and Other Stories. Although not my first published book, The Snowbridge and Other Stories was the first to be written, at a time when I still worked to pay my bills. The short story format was therefore chosen to accommodate interruption and discontinuity. If the book has a central theme, it is the belief that nothing, least of all relationships, stay the same. At best, they evolve, but as frequently decay, and are invariably the product of time and place. A perfectly contented friendship in one location can run downhill if shifted to another with entirely different dynamics. Intimacy also has its problems in how close or removed an ideal relationship should be for its participants. What is sauce for a goose is not necessarily sauce for the gander. A relationship is a finely balanced instrument, often falling apart at the least indication of tremor. My career in human resource management has taken me to scores of countries, which in this book become the canvas for my stories in London suburbs, San Francisco's high-class streets, Ho Chi Minh City's manic traffic, Hong Kong's hurrying throngs, and the Philippines' rural townships. Against this backdrop, I've explored the joy, the strain, and the fragility of relationships between husband and wives, mothers and daughters, brothers, friends, partners, employers and employees, in the relationship within the self or in a putative relationship that never quite began. A secondary theme is the long-term expatriate's dilemma of engaging with a place not his or her own when connections with the country of birth diminish. Where, in other words, does an expatriate with weakened roots and no sense of belonging come to rest? In part, the book rests on what my job has given me, an interest in people and observations about motives, aspirations, successes and failures. Being delayed for a flight was never a problem when sharing a hall where all are equal and stripped of pleasure. That man and woman who stepped off an escalator, are they happy? Have they been fighting? Or just arrived from the intimacy of a shared bed? What does that child think of parents walking just a few steps behind or ahead? Does the separating distance imply some emotional gap? Are partnerships a convenience, and does anything outlive the brief moment of its birth? Are lives before the screen a simple exercise in rectitude and public relations? Does love inevitably metamorphose into custom and willy-nilly entrap because doing anything different, especially after the passage of years, is too disruptive and painful? At the heart of each story is an ancient suspicion that life is a tragedy, made bearable only by occasional farce and sporadic love, that travel on an inevitable trajectory about which we can do very little. My characters are ordinary people playing out their plain lives in sitting rooms and kitchens, and in the comings and goings and rituals of marriage, kinship, acquaintance, rivalry, friendship, and the workplace. No cosy conclusions are offered to the questions that these stories invite us to ponder. And the book is not just another foreigner's limited view of distant lands. They are, I hope, tales of what is all around, in the papers, on the streets and stairs, or, as one of my characters says, where each face and name, along with all its little secrets, become imprinted alongside my own in the Lord's great Judgment Day ledger. My hope is to entertain, but also remind that the enduring purpose of fiction is to explore cruelty and bliss, probe lives where nothing else touches, help all men and women look each other in the eye and explore the world's dark corners where science and politics never reach, where seeking truth and beauty is at the heart of the grand human project.